Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, and welcome to another question that comes from my inbox. So, I have questions that come to me, as you guys know, either via email or over social media. You can inbox me there, and I get a lot of comments even on the individual posts, and I just kind of cull through everything that I receive. Some of it is, hey, here's what's happening with my situation. Others are, hey, I have a question that would be more something that maybe you could ask for the overall collective. So, especially when I'm not doing personal readings. So, I haven't been doing personal readings for a little bit here. I turned my shop on and off, not to confuse you, but because I have very busy life, and so I try to fit readings in when I feel like I can. So I will, you'll notice that I will tend to reopen it periodically when I have the opportunity. So sometimes it's better to just kind of ask the question if it's one that would be appropriate here for the whole collective. And so someone has. We got a lot of questions about the new soulmate that's coming in, and we haven't really talked about that person in these last few readings. This one has been, these last few have been much more back to, like, for the last week we've been talking a lot more about the person that you've been in this on this wild ride with. So we want to know now a little bit more about this new soulmate. And one person had asked specifically if it was the person, if this person was the thing that was going to set your soul on fire. Another one said that is this, I feel like this is somebody that I'm going to meet while I'm doing this. How do I get closer to this thing, and the answers I feel like are probably going to be a little bit different for different people, but I thought let's go ahead and do a reading about it. Let's see what happens. So we're looking at the relationship between that new soulmate and the thing that's going to set your soul on fire more than anything else. And so, of course, it is going to be a general reading for this collective, as they all are. And it will be, it's going to be, it's not going to resonate with everybody. And I say this at the beginning of all the videos because I have to, but also because it's really important. It won't resonate with everybody, but if it does resonate with you, you might want to subscribe. You might want to check out some of the other things that have been said, the other messages that have come out. So looking just into kind of the main energetic and emotional energy that's going on for today, we've got the Hierophant that comes out immediately. So there is guidance in the air, guidance on the air. There is a lot of positive benefit that you can gain from getting closer to that guidance, to quieting yourself so you're able to hear it. Right away, we see your ability to manifest your world and that opportunity that represents the thing that's going to set your soul on fire. So we know on today's energy, this is really a day to learn new things about what's going to set your soul on fire. But not only that, you should be able to do some new things with regard to it. We've got a Ten of Swords coming out here as an honorable mention, and it's really just to say that you've got something in your past that was very painful at the time, but that ultimately it's preparing you for what you've earned it. You've earned what's coming now. And it feels like this is a pretty positive energy with this thing that some of you have already found it, but this thing that sets your soul on fire. So we've got the Nine of Pentacles. This is confidence within you starting to rise. So it feels like this is one of those days where those things that you're familiar with, you feel pretty good about being familiar with. Not that you know everything, just there's a good, solid confidence about you without having that arrogance to you. And this just feels like you. It feels like energy that's coming from you. Not saying that others don't have it in common, but this is about you. So you've got the Queen of Wands here in reverse also. Queen of Wands in reverse is really, it's kind of today, the way that it feels is an easy does it card, but also a do it for the right reasons card. I don't see you engaging in something that you're opposed to engaging in for some reason, whether it's because of your values or a matter of self-worth. You seem like you're on pretty solid level ground today with regard to your self-worth, even if you feel like you're not doing great. your balance is there. So of course we've got the death card that has been coming out a ton here, and the Emperor card here in reverse. There's a lot of change that has happened with you, that has kind of happened around you here recently. August has been nuts. I can't wait to get in and do that refresh here in a couple of days. I'll do the refresh and I'll do a refresh for both the general reading, kind of the general energy, as well as the soulmates here in a couple of days, and we'll see what comes out. But we've seen an awful lot of this death card, an awful lot of the changes that are happening that are giving way to something that is new. Then we've got this Emperor card in reverse, which is another message we've seen a lot of, and that is people are doing a lot to try and control their situations. So sometimes it's you, sometimes it's the people that you're dealing with. There's a lot going on, and it's partially because of everyone really digging into this Venus retrograde energy. You know, we've been in it for a couple, 3 weeks now, and we've got a little ways to go. The Venus retrograde energy is one of wanting to get comfort in resolution and finding those places where you need to take the edges off, maybe a little bit, smooth the edges off so that something gets a little bit more refined. And it's going to be values, it's going to be opinions, it's going to be things that get cemented in you that you we're still feeling the impact of a moon that was full 10 days ago or something, and it's making me feel like it's not so much just about that moon, but it's very much bringing out the energy of you and your own expression of yourself. It's very attractive energy. Very attractive energy, but I see you hanging back and not necessarily doing things quickly. This is not making rash decisions. This is not jumping off into new things. Doesn't mean you don't do new things. It's just kind of not with a rash, let's just jump into it, whatever, unmeasured sort of approach. You have a more measured, mature approach about you. It's not bad, but it's not quite as spontaneous. Okay, so let's take a look then a little bit more about the relationship between this new soulmate and what's going to set your soul on fire. So what I love here is that the thing that's going to set your soul on fire has already come out. It's already come out as being clear and present, and you having all the capacity in the world to move toward it. So any questions about this person being connected to it and in a way that would kind of disengage you from it seem to be not, they don't seem to be what's happening here. But I also see you being able to integrate things within your life pretty well. So about this, about the relationship between that soulmate and what's going to set your soul on fire. Let's get a feel for that. What is kind of the relationship between those things? That's really what we're after here, and I am willing to just kind of see what comes out. So we've got the High Priestess. This is exactly why I didn't limit the question any further than that. Okay, so the High Priestess is about, there are messages that need to come to you. They need to come to you from your higher power. They need to come from your higher self. You are encouraged here once again to open yourself up to that guidance and those messages. This is the card that I thought of when this card, the Hierophant, came out earlier. You are encouraged very much to listen for guidance to come from a variety of places, but especially make sure that you're making space for it within your meditations and your prayers, because there's a lot of information that's there for you. There's a lot to be, I call it downloads, and it really just kind of feels like it comes to you sometimes all at once, and then you'll start to make more sense out of it as it goes. But it's got this emotional impact that comes with it. So there's an emotional impact, but you're being given, there's an emotional impact with this thing that's going to set your soul on fire, and you're being given this person for perspective. Like, you are being given somebody who has the ability to treat you a little bit more the way that you would want to be treated. And you get to see that in a different context within your life now. And it offers you an opportunity to step up to a new level and to have somebody kind of help to pull you up there. Even if that's not intentionally what they're doing, it's what ends up happening. You know, you guys have it's a soulmate relationship. It's a very close soulmate relationship. You guys are able to talk to each other. You're able to sit in silence. This is two things that seem like they're very different, but really it's very comforting. You're able to talk with each other comforting in a comfortable way, but you're also able to sit in that silence. You're able to bounce these ideas that are downloaded off of one another. This is somebody that you can talk to on a level that it's a friend who could potentially also be a lover if it's that type of relationship. And for some people it won't be a consideration. It's just going to be, here's a soulmate that comes in, like I think I met mine, and there's I would say almost 0% chance that this is a lover situation. I think it's a friend. They've already come in and triggered me, taught me that my vulnerability had been injured. Everything that we're seeing in the readings is playing out in the real world for several of us. So with the Ten of Swords here, there is that memory of pain that came before. But again, it's not necessarily the pain that came with you and your soulmate that you've been working around the lessons with. This is pain that is probably a lot older than that. That was brought back to you by this most recent soulmate with whom you've been learning all the lessons. There is something destined about like everything you do from here on out, because you figure it out. There's something where you figure out the feel of an opportunity that feels destined, okay? And you start to figure out, you hear about people that are lucky and it seems like they just have this lucky energy. Well, you have this energy of going in a direction that is going to lead you where you need to go. And it looks weird from the outside sometimes, or it feels crazy, but it looks graceful. It's just different from the way that it actually feels to you. And so you're over here kind of feeling like you are maybe really struggling around this thing that's going to set your soul on fire. In some cases, having trouble even identifying the opportunity. And like there's this easy does it. The more you hold on to it and the more you search for it, the harder it is to find. Or the harder it is, the less likely it is wanting to come up, and you hear about that. You often hear you've just kind of got to give it up and let it happen, because there's this feeling that there's a big rush. I get this with the Sun card, and I've gotten this with the Sun card a couple of times now, but it's this feeling of that there's a missing opportunity, or you're going to miss an opportunity if you don't hurry up and heal something or do something. With the Four of Cups, there's a strong disappointment that seems like it's a little bit unfounded. This is based on a perception that that you're not keeping a very good balance. But here I'm seeing that you are keeping a pretty good balance. With the Two of Pentacles, that's really what the definition of it is. And it's really what's coming off of this card. There's that feeling of balance, but this feeling of you selling yourself short almost on this. Not giving yourself the credit that you deserve. Let's see, I think it's just this one that we want. Yeah. So we've got the Page of Cups that comes out here. You are going to find that that vulnerability that we know needs to be found somewhere. This soulmate is somebody that brings it out in you. What you're vulnerable about is this thing that sets your soul on fire. So I can see that the relationship between them is so close that it may feel like it's intertwined. I wonder if maybe we could get a little bit more information about both the thing that sets your soul on fire and the soulmate, maybe in the extended reading, and maybe see what we get there. So the Six of Pentacles, again, I get that sense of this person treating you the way that you deserve to be treated, the way that you deserve to be treated, because you've just had an exercise of self-worth. And you've stepped up a notch. You have, even if you have found that you didn't have the self-worth that you thought you did, you have discovered that. You've gotten in for another round and you have passed judgment as a result of what you've done here. There's been some healing that's already taken you pretty far in this. This is this is part of like the reward that you get for that, and that you are able to acknowledge that you deserve and that you've worked for as a result of what you've been through and what you've experienced, because this is part of what Okay, so there is a definite relationship between this person and what sets your soul on fire, in that they help to orient you because they help to give you the strength that they lend you a helping hand from a, and it could come in any form, but they lend you a helping hand from, in a way that just sort of helps you feel better about things. Something that you have been feeling very difficult about. Maybe it's just, you have something that has been bothering you and you happen to say something about it to them, and they say exactly the right thing to make you feel better. And all of a sudden, you realize that you can let go of something. Like, it's that sort of energy and it's that sort of connection that you have with this soulmate, but also with this thing that sets your soul on fire. There's that feels more activity-ish or hobby-ish, or there's a pursuit or a passion that this person interacts with you with regard to that, but I don't think they are one and the same. Let's take a look at your area of focus and see where you will want to focus during this. So we've got the Four of Swords in reverse. Look for the places that you're not yet healed. There's a sense here that you've got some healing that needs to come out. We've been watching all of these places where you have been encouraged to use what you've learned, but we're going to look now to see, well, what are the edges of that healing that haven't been done yet. And it's going to be a little bit different for everybody else. I think this person helps you to find that, where no guidance is able to really get, you're watching tarot readings, you're talking to any number of friends, therapists, people at the church, people that you might want to talk to get guidance, and for some reason nothing's clicking. Something is going to click with regard to this person, but it's going to come from you. Like, it's going to seem so obvious to you, but it's because of interaction with this person. But you don't immediately trust it when you feel it. So this is what I was afraid of. And I was like, well, how come I don't feel so much more like just resolved? Like, I can just stop pulling cards now. And there's going to be something about this that you don't trust when it happens. There's something about you where you've established a lot of self-trust. So like your person that you're coming in contact with, remember, if you've been watching the readings, you know that this person has I hesitate to use the term false bravado, but they think they've got some stuff figured out that it turns out when they get together with you that they don't actually have figured out, and it concerns them considerably. But they figure it out pretty quickly. They get triggered and they figured out pretty quickly, oh, hey, I've got some more things to learn. That's what you've got to do over here. You thought you had more self-trust than you do, but it's okay. This is a place where once you're able to define the problem, you're just that much closer to being able to solve it. And then here with the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse, be prepared, and I think you are prepared for this. Be prepared to have to make some changes to your lifestyle and the way that you live in the day-to-day. I don't think it's bad. I don't think you're losing anything. I think you're shifting something, and it's going to be, now you have to set some new routines, that sort of thing. And it's routines that you've maybe worked pretty hard to build. Just use that same attitude that you put into these routines that you're so fond of to build the new ones. That's the advice that wants to come out here. It's that flexibility for change, because you've got something coming that's better, and you definitely stand to make an improvement that you don't see coming. It's going to feel like there's still a hold up with your person, the person that you have been getting all these readings about, not the new person. The new person, it's going to move slowly, but this is that soulmate, that twin flame like soulmate that you've had here, been getting soulmate readings about. And this person seems like there's some kind of hold up. They are just mired in it, and we've seen that in several of the readings here recently, but they're just mired in it. But you've got your own fish to fry. You've got your own things to concern yourself with regard to some of the injury that they've done to you, or that has happened to you in this relationship with them. You've got your own heart chakra to open up, and it's this person here who is willing to listen and willing to be there for you in a whole new way. That's part of what changes things. So hang on. Yeah, I dropped a card, but it fell face down. The other thing is, there may be more than one person who steps forward to help you understand what you've been missing with this person. So say you asked your twin flame soulmate for something and they didn't give it to you. Somebody else that you may not expect is just going to freely give it to you 10 times over without you asking, and you're going to realize, hold on, maybe it wasn't too much to ask for. It's that sort of feeling. Then we've got the Six of Cups here in reverse. There's going to be a time where you start to redirect your energy, and you might start to feel a little bit regretful about having redirected that energy, and concerned that you're not spending enough of your energy on your twin flame like soulmate, which is just what I'm going to call them for the sake of this energy and the way that it feels. Don't worry, they are still busy working on their lessons. You still have some to go as well. You're going to come to yourself and say, wait, what's going on? Have I Have I lost the connection? Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, you haven't lost the connection, but you do have some opportunities to build yourself up. And so when you build yourself up, every time you build yourself up, you're changing yourself a little from the person who was so connected to that soulmate. And so as they are building themselves up, they're also changing themselves. So when you guys come back together for your potential reunion, certainly looking for some reconciliation, it's going to be a pretty different picture for both of you. You'll have to allow for that. In the recent past, where we had a whole bunch of people, this flurry of reaching out, which a lot of that, it feels like in the notes I'm getting from you, has started to fizzle a little bit, but they've gone back into themselves to learn some lessons. It's not always a harsh ending this time. Now it's just kind of, and sometimes it is by all means, but not in all cases. In some cases, it's been more of just a careful or a soft drifting away. You have some decisions here. We keep seeing the decision card, the Two of Swords, come up for you. And just as you work through this, to think about how you want to handle yourself. Don't use the template of your old self to build your new self. That's the only thing that I would say. Your person is turning into somebody who will no longer be attracted to the person that you once were. And you're turning into somebody who will no longer be attracted to what they once were. So, this is about putting the effort into you and becoming the best that you possibly can, because no matter what, that's going to be more attractive than anything. And it's going to be the most wonderful life to live in. Make it a life that you want to live in, make the person that you are, somebody that you can feel like you want to be. You don't want to try and get away from. That's kind of the message that comes out here. And there's been some missed opportunity there, but you have the opportunity to make up that ground. So you had the Sun card come out in reverse, and there was some concern about, wait, have I lost that opportunity? Am I too far behind? Absolutely not. There's certainly an opportunity to make up that ground and then some. And then we've got the Sire of Swords here. Let your logic side kind of run away with you as well, and let it guide your emotional side. So ordinarily, I wouldn't tell you to get lost in your fantasies, but what I want you to do, based on what I'm feeling here, is to get lost in those fantasies and come up with the healthiest thing you can possibly come up with. So don't make it revolve around another person. Make it revolve around your happiness and the fullest life you could picture. Write that down and send it to me. That's where you're going to keep it. I'll read it, but more importantly, you'll have that record of having sent it. Then go off and start to continue follow your nose, follow what feels like the right direction to go, because you've got that ability to do that right now and you're getting the guidance. And then come back once in a while and take a look at this healthiest thing you can come up with. It may include a person, but you may find that it doesn't even specifically include a person or a relationship. There's this sense here that you're building the ability to truly feel like you've earned this. And so it's time for you to start defining it. You have really come through on solving some things. There is victory, and this is an honorable mention, but there's victory on this path. If you keep going the way that you're going, and you keep going toward this new soulmate who's going to teach you things that help you to reconcile yourself so that you can reconcile with your other soulmate and anybody else that with whom you need reconciliation. That's a beautiful thing. And then you can reunite with whomever you wish to reunite with at that point. But there's a go forward, lean into this. There's something really awesome about that. But let's get a little bit more of a sense of what's happening, both with that thing that sets your soul on fire and with this new soulmate that's coming in. Let's learn a little bit more about them, and then let's learn a little bit more about interactions that you. I guess we'll hold that. It's going to be about you. We'll wait to see what comes out about your soulmate and about your thing that's going to set your soul on fire. So exciting. Let's see what happens in the extended. The link is down below if you'd like to follow me there. If not, then I look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's reading.